Hello Gemini, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of this connection, so we're going to look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story, so we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, especially if you're a cross watcher, just know the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, take what helps, leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Gemini, we're going to start with looking at overall energy through oracle cards for this connection, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. So let's start, Gemini, with your overall energy toward the person you're dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. This is Gemini's side of this connection. Fate, passion. You are very, very heavily drawn to this connection, and I feel like you were like right off the bat, like pretty immediately. But you have this confusion card with wild card. So I feel like as things stand right now, there's a lot that is up in the air or unpredictable. I also feel like this person might be, I don't want to say necessarily like unlike your usual type, but I feel like you are more drawn to them than you've ever really been drawn to anyone before. There's definitely a chemistry here. There is definitely an attraction. So I feel like that kind of gives you this feeling of like, oh my gosh, like this is the person I've been waiting for. Like there's kind of this intensity associated with this connection for sure. However, with this confusion card, I feel like you're feeling a little bit confused, maybe about how this person feels or where things stand. This person's energy toward you, Gemini. This person's energy toward you. Surrender, patience, and connection. So I feel like this person is a little bit opposite of you. You might have a tendency to like really want to jump into something, wearing your heart on your sleeve, not necessarily in a bad way. But I feel like this person's a little bit more calculated. It's like, and that doesn't, I feel like that can have a negative connotation, but I feel like they're just a little bit more slow to open up, to connect, to get vulnerable. And that doesn't necessarily mean they never will, but I do definitely feel with this connection card that they do recognize there is a connection here. However, this patience card makes me feel that they are it's like taking things really slow, almost like too slow in a way. And I feel like it's hard for you because you're like, I see, this potential, like, let's just make this work. So it feels like you're really open and this person's really closed off. And I feel like that creates a difficult dynamic here because you're like, let's go, like, let's commit, let's make things happen. And I feel like this person is a little bit more closed off. Truth of this connection between Gemini and this person. Optimism, growth, deja vu. Okay. there's something here that seems very familiar to you about this person. Now, on the flip side, or I guess in addition, I feel like you see a lot of potential in this connection. I feel like you see, you have a lot of optimism when it comes to this and where it can go. However, there's something about a cycle appearing here. Something about some sort of cycle that this person represents or is trying to help you break. Like the connection is trying to help you break. So I don't really know what that's in regard to. I feel like it's interesting because it does. It feels like this person's really, really, really closed off. But let's see. Overall theme of this reading. Overall theme of this reading for Gemini, please. Now, just because you might find yourself being cautious in love, like I'm not saying that you're not, but I do very much feel like when it comes to this connection, like you don't want to be because of how intense your feelings are. Overall theme of this reading for Gemini. It is for the higher good. So something in this connection is happening for the higher good. There's the inconsistencies. Someone has unmet needs. Okay. So this connection definitely has almost like a spiritual purpose in your life. Because I feel like this person's behavior is very inconsistent for you, and I feel like that's what's really hard. And I feel like, again, that has a lot to do with this person's cautious nature or taking things really slow. And I feel like that for you, it's I just kind of, I want to commit, let's just do this, let's just go. But this person is really holding back, and I feel like that's been really difficult and frustrating for you in a lot of ways, which is completely understandable. But let's dive deeper because I feel like we've got a lot to unpack here. So let's see, Gemini, you have passion with fate. This is Gemini's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Two of Cups. I mean, I could have told you that. There's a lot of love here. There's a lot of care here that you have for this person. You do feel very deeply connected to them in a lot of ways. Yeah, but then there's that Four of Pentacles in reverse. There's a lot of instability here. There's a lot that I feel like it's it keeps you on your toes, but almost not in a good way. There could have also been this energy of almost constantly feeling like the rug is getting ripped out from underneath you, because you have this Ten of Swords, which can kind of be betrayal or abandonment of some sort. See, this is shocking to me. I didn't expect this. And I feel like that gives kind of the same energy of you. You're I didn't expect this. Because I feel like you felt things were good, but then there's the world. There's that cycle with the Knight of Wands in reverse. So it feels like you have this cycle that keeps repeating in your life, where you meet someone or you're in a connection with someone, and then out of the blue, it kind of screw you over. And you're left to really pick up the pieces. Now, the cycle could exist just within this connection, or it could exist within connections outside of this too. And I feel like that is where the inconsistencies card is really what it's really talking about, is because the inconsistencies I feel like aren't just little, they're big things too, promises of commitment being broken, just saying things but never really backing it up with actions. And then eventually, obviously, rug gets pulled out from underneath you, blindsided kind of energy. Like that's really what this is. And I feel like it's interesting because you, again, had a lot of hope for where this connection was going to go in the beginning, but then it turned out like really painful at the end of it. And I feel like there's maybe even, it's like maybe even this feeling of like trying to make sense of really what happened, which makes sense because of the blindsided aspect. Four of Cups, the Eight of Wands. I feel like there's this focus of like, what could I have done differently? How could I have gotten this person to not do these things or something like that? Yeah, because there might be, this isn't for everyone, but there might be a desire for reconciliation. A desire to bring things back together. Because I definitely feel like, again, there feels like there's this just untapped potential in this connection to you because of how things really unfolded here. And I feel like at one point this did provide a lot of hope for you. But yet, I feel like you're in a really difficult place where you're feeling really hurt because, and like almost like disappointed or maybe even a little, I guess, yeah, like just feeling a little screwed over, which I do feel like just kind of based on what I can see, that's what it looks like. It looks like that's kind of what happened here. But there's always multiple sides, right? Because this world with the deja vu card is what I'm really drawn to. The deeper purpose associated with this. Like there's definitely some sort of cycle here. But it's almost like there's need with the Four of Cups, like there needs to be this shift in perspective. But I don't necessarily know what that is yet. Because I feel like you're looking at this a little bit wrong. But again, I don't have the details on that yet. I feel like we'll get more of that as we continue. So bear with me. Bear with me, Gemini. This person's energy toward Gemini, connection with patience. Because they recognize there's a connection here. So why are they holding back so much? Or why did they hold back so much? This person's energy toward Gemini. Okay. I mean, seeing the first card out as the Nine of Swords is very telling for this person's energy. I feel like they have, okay. Nine of Pentacles in reverse with the Five of Swords. I feel like they have really deep-seated insecurity here. Insecurity that they might not be fully aware of, but that keeps them, interesting, because there you are. Hang on, let me keep pulling really quick before I'm doing too many things at once. I'm like trying to channel and make sense of this. Get one more. Oh, two more. Yeah, I knew we were going to see the Page of Cups in reverse. I knew it. And there's the Four of Swords. Okay, so this person, very deeply insecure, but they might not present that in a very open way. I feel like this might be something they either overcompensate with ego for, or they just, avoid altogether. And I feel like it's interesting because, I mean, right here, Queen of Swords, Two of Cups, they have love for you too. The feelings are mutual here, and I feel like that's because you did have that confusion card, and I feel like that's what's so confusing is I feel like you're trying to make sense of like, I really thought this person like loved me, cared about me, like I really thought there was something here, so why the hell did they do what they did, or why are things like they are? I don't necessarily know what happened. I don't know if there was betrayal or like abandonment. Something happened. This person did something that ripped the rug out from underneath you. And I feel like what makes it like even more interesting is with this Nine of Pentacles in reverse, that is like having a desire that you don't think will ever be met. Basically, like not like believing that you can't have what you want. And I feel like this connection had such a deep connection, and there was so much potential that it almost scared the hell out of this person. It's like it highlighted a lot of their insecurities and ways in which they felt not good enough for the things that they desired. So with this Five of Swords, their immediate reaction was put a wall up, push it away, get the hell out. And it's interesting because that's not actually what they desire. I feel like they desire what the potential of this connection is, but the deep root of this, and I said I knew we were going to see the Page of Cups in reverse because that is a direct representation of emotional unavailability. It is this whatever form that might be, because it could be because they're prioritizing things that aren't as good for them. It could be because they've never actually gained a certain level of a self-awareness and emotional awareness to be able to present that to other people, because people can only meet you where they've met themselves. Either way, I feel like, and this is where I feel like the perspective needs to change, is you're looking at this from this perspective of like, what could I have done differently to make this person not have done whatever they did, or like to make things be better than they are? And I'm going to give you a very straight answer. There is nothing you could have done. Because when you're dealing with emotionally unavailable people, there is nothing that you can do to make that person emotionally available. Emotional unavailability comes from a lack of healing, a lack of growth, and a lack of self-awareness. And it's hard because there are a lot of people out there who are emotionally unavailable, yet at the same time crave deep connection, love, and acceptance. But they have absolutely no idea what to do to go about that. So they run from it. They push it away when it's presented to them. And I can say this from personal experience. Before I did any healing, I was somebody who was very emotionally unavailable, and I pushed away people left and right. Typically people that would treat me very well or showed a lot of promise in a relationship. I would find reasons to push that person away. I would pick fights. I would do whatever I could essentially to not let that person get too close to me, because at my core, I felt so deeply unlovable and not good enough, and my insecurities were the driving essentially force of my behavior. So I kept people at a distance because I didn't want to let them in. I didn't want them to see, quote unquote, the real me. And it was at the detriment of myself because I desired deep connections, yet I didn't allow myself the opportunity to do this. Now at the time, because again, this was before a spiritual awakening, before I had done any healing, I didn't realize I was doing this. I wasn't consciously doing these things. Most people are living in a very unconscious driven reality. But when I started awakening to certain things, doing a lot of healing and going to therapy, I started becoming more and more aware of how I did this. And when that happened, I ended up on the other side, where then I started over empathizing with people who were like I was, who were emotionally unavailable and would push love away. And I would try to get them to see that they didn't have to do that. Because a big reason as to why I pushed love away was I didn't think I was worthy of it. I was good enough of it. So then I tried to do what I could to make other people see that they were worthy of it and good enough for it, which ended up getting me just as hurt. But what I'm getting at with all of this, and I don't just talk about myself for the hell of it, there's always a reason, is there, when you're dealing with people who are emotionally unavailable, your first instinct might be, well, let me show this person that I can love them well, that I'm worth it, that this connection is worth it, or whatever the case is. But what you're actually asking that person to do is you're asking them to face themselves on a level that they are terrified to face themselves at. There is so much shame, guilt, that gets buried when people are making decisions based on running from their insecurities or running from the things that they don't necessarily like about themselves. And getting somebody to face that is really hard, because facing it is really hard. I can, again, say from experience that was not a fun time in my life, where I started becoming aware of the ways in which I harmed others through my unhealthy patterns and behaviors, but it was necessary because it allowed me to both learn how to love and be loved and get to experience the things that I deserved and desired. But it was hard, and it took hitting rock bottom multiple times for me to finally decide to make a change. And I think that, so much of the time when we get into relationships with people who are emotionally unavailable, we start to look at it from this place of like, why am I not good enough for this person? Why is this person not opening up? Why are they not being vulnerable? Why aren't they not letting me in? Why aren't they letting me love them? Why aren't they loving me back? And we look at it from this perspective of like, what am I doing wrong? When in reality, you're not doing anything wrong. You're looking for love in somebody who is incapable of providing it for you. That's where things get difficult. And one of the best things my therapist ever taught me is we cannot take other people's capacities to love personally, because their capacity to love is merely a reflection of their level of growth, healing, and involvement, and it has nothing to do with us. The only thing that we need to look at is why we are so attracted to that specific dynamic. Because for a long time, I was very driven toward emotionally unavailable people, and getting to the root of why and healing that is what eventually led me to having the love that I deserve and desire with my husband. So I feel like that's where I started. I said, there's a perspective change that's needed, and you're looking at things wrong. I feel like you're looking at this from this perspective of like, this person hurt me because, they felt like I was deserving of being hurt, or they felt like I wasn't good enough, or they made me feel like I wasn't good enough, or whatever the case is. And all those feelings are very valid, okay? I'm not saying you shouldn't feel the way that you feel, but I'm asking you to take a different perspective, because taking other people's capacities to love personally is the first way that we go wrong in relationships, because that is what allows us to get caught up in thinking that other people's behavior has anything to do with us ever, because it never does. Other people's behavior, when people treat you poorly, when people abandon you, when people do things that hurt you and harm you, they are showing you all of the ways in which they treat themselves. So it's more of a reflection of them than it is of you at all. Does that make it okay? No, absolutely not. But there is a cycle here of you being attracted or attracting into your life people who are not capable of loving you well, and taking a deep look at that cycle and understanding it from the perspective of, okay, it's not that I'm not lovable, it's that I keep attracting people who make me feel unlovable. Then that can help you find the root of what that is, so that you can break out of that cycle and attract the relationships that you do deserve and desire. And I think that that's why I talked about this connection having a deeper purpose, and maybe even a little bit of a spiritual purpose. Is it's not so much about the person, because you have this growth card, you have it is for the highest good. It's the ways in which this connection helps you heal, grow, and evolve, so that you can attract the best connections in your life. I've learned through some of the biggest heartbreaks in my life that every single relationship in our life is an opportunity to grow, heal, evolve in some way. And when we look at it from that place, we always get led to better. So it's not that you can't have the love that you desire. You absolutely can. I just feel like when you're looking for it in emotionally unavailable people, and that's very, very glaringly obvious through this specific person, then there's something going on there that is asking to be healed, so that you can attract healthy connections that align with where you're at. So we're going to hop on over to the extended and dive a lot deeper into this, looking at that deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Gemini, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Gemini.